Hi, good day. My name is Peter Jordan, and we're back again for another session, this time to talk about feelings. And again, Chanel has kindly agreed to be here with me. Hi, Chanel. Thank you so much for being my guinea pig to talk about feelings. Okay, so the first thing I got to ask you is, Chanel, what are feelings and why do we call them feelings? What are feelings? Any idea?
I have I have no idea about feelings, but I do know that they are controlling me.
Okay, good.
And I would like to learn more about them so that
Okay,
I can understand them.
okay. Now that's great. So I go back to my question. What are feelings and why do we call them feelings? And it's actually very simple. The feeling is a feeling that you feel in your body. Okay, that's what they are. They are feelings that you feel in your body. How do these feelings come about in your body? It's an interaction between your energy body around you and your physical body. Okay, understand. So when you understand this feelings, then you understand the language of the feelings between you, your physical body, and your energy body around you. Okay, and that language is a thing that it is that you need to learn to understand. What are feelings? Okay, on the thing. Now it's the same as when it is that you were taken. Let me take you back to when you were in primary school and you were learning to read, or in grade school. Okay, you had the teacher then put up little letters in there, so say this is a letter C, and this is a letter A, and this is a letter T. Okay, and they showed you that the symbol of the C is a K, and the symbol of an A, and how you say the A and the T, and then they say, okay, now we put these three things together, and then we call them a cat. Okay, one thing. And that's the way that you learn to read. You learn to take the letters and you learn to take this. So, who went about and to teach you in your growing up years about how your feelings work and what are your feelings? And the answer to that is nobody, right? It's kind of like it's not a formal part in our education system to teach us how our feelings work. Our education system lacks that. Okay, so if we don't get it in the education system, then where are we supposed to get it? Do we go to the church to get it? Do you get it there? No. You go to the government to get it? Do they give it to you? No. You go to work? Do they give it to you? No. Kind of like, well, you go home. Okay, this is where they say, well, this is where you're supposed to learn it at home. Well, where did my mom and dad have to learn feelings? Because they know nothing about feelings. So if they know nothing about feelings, then how can they teach me about feelings? And there isn't the school around me that teach me about feelings and everything else. So where it is that you're supposed to learn? So I say, oh, okay, so let me pick up the books and I read the books. And the books are called the Mills and Boon. All right, you might remember the Mills and Boon. Do you ever read Mills and Boon? No. Okay, other thing. So any one of the romantic novels, okay, about feelings, or you go and watch the movies to try and learn about feelings, okay. And so these are the things that we try and do. Now, you know, we need to know the movies, or the movie industry knows very little about feelings also. So if they know very little about feelings, then where are you supposed to learn about feelings? So then we go and try in different kind of relationships, romantic relationships and others, to try and learn about us and our feelings. And somehow we're supposed to magically know what they are. And we don't. Okay, another thing. So why is feelings so important? And the reason to that is that everybody, when they see each other, they say, "Hi, Chanel, how are you?" And Chanel will answer, "Well, I got up this morning and then, I switched on the computer and then the computer crashed and then I had to load the new set of Windows on, which is highly possible with Windows. And okay. And all of that doesn't tell me anything about how Chanel feels. And everybody wants to know how you are. Okay, and so in the response, okay, and often is that we would all say, is that, well, yeah, I'm feeling fine. Well, you know what fine stands for? Well, I'll leave out the F: insecure, neurotic, and excitable. Okay, fine. Okay, it's something we don't communicate with each other. But those that have learned how to communicate through their feelings with each other, they will respond in a different kind of way. Okay, so let's just backtrack a little bit. Sometime back in the early sessions that we did, we spoke about your energy body and how your energy body is made up of the feeling side of you, of the power side of you, and this spiritual body of who you are. Okay, on the thing. Now, everybody has got this feeling side, and this feeling side is also our feminine side. Okay, and this feminine side works, and it is everybody's feelings. Everybody cannot not feel. Everybody feels, but it is that they don't know what it is that they feel. And when they don't know what it is that they feel, this feeling tends to override everything in us, and it starts to control us. And when it controls us, then it is we do this kind of behavior or that kind of thing, or we're attracted to this kind of partner or that. Okay, it's all because of these feelings that control us. When it is that you can understand the language of the feelings of who you are and how it all works, then it is the dynamics of the things change completely, and then it is you can speak about these feelings and speak about how you feel, because this interaction will give you the feedback about how you feel. And when you speak about this, how you feel, to somebody else, then this allows you to have this heart-to-heart connection with those around you. And what's so bad about that? Exactly. There's nothing bad about it, okay? But it is a skill that it is that we all need to learn, because, there is this big movement that goes on in the corporate world. It's a thing called emotional intelligence. Now, I'll talk a little bit about the difference between emotions and feelings a little bit further on. But this emotional intelligence is a big industry that is going around to corporates and businesses and everybody else. Why is that? Because they have found out that it is that managers do not know how their staff below them are feeling in this organization. And if they don't understand how the staff is feeling in this organization, then it is that the staff feel that management don't care about them. Nobody cares about them. They are just a number that is there. And when it is that they are just this number, they just do the barest minimum. Okay, one thing. When it is that you have management that care and take cognizance of their staff and the interaction of the staff, and make sure that the staff are happy, because it's not just about a salary, it's about the interactions that people have with the management. It's about the management interacting with the staff and understanding how they are feeling. And when they understand how they are feeling, they get to know how to rely on people and what drives people. And then they can adjust things so that people feel happy in this environment, because the boss understands how I feel. When the boss understands how I feel, then how much work am I going to put into it?
Much more.
Much more. If the boss does not understand how I feel and he doesn't care, then I put in the barest minimum to get me by. So that's why this emotional intelligence thing is so important, because it leads to better productivity, but it also leads to happier staff. When you've got happier staff, then it is you haven't got a rapid staff turnover. You've got people that stay. You pay less in terms of training. You pay less in terms of everything else. Okay, one thing. So all of that is so important. So if people were taught emotional intelligence at home, well, the emotional intelligence industry wouldn't have a job. But it's a big industry. So that means is that society in general doesn't know about them and their feelings. Okay? And this is a big industry that's only been developed in the last little while. If we look back at our parents and that, my parents, if we look back at my parents, they never heard of the term emotional intelligence, let alone a course to go on. Okay, because it just wasn't around at their time. It's now around now because people have become aware of them. So if our parents didn't know that, how could they teach that to us? You can't teach something that you don't know, right? Okay, one thing, yeah. So this is not this is not a criticism on somebody to saying, well, you know, that there's something wrong with you because you don't know about your feelings or you can't express your feelings. It just is a thing for you to understand that this is an aspect of me that I need to grow. Okay, now this is an even more of an aspect of you, and I don't just mean you, Chanel, I mean of the people that have been abused. Okay, those that have been abused, this feelings aspect has been shut down even more than the general people, the general and populace. So this part about you learning about you and your feelings is really, really important. And it's important not only for you, for yourself to be able to express your feelings, but it's important for your romantic partner, and it's important for your interactions with your family, with your children, if you've got children, or with friends, or with your work colleagues. All of that is important, because the more that you can do that, the more it is that you find that your relationships become warm relationships. They become open relationships, when it is that you can have this feeling interaction with other people, then it is I get to know over a period of time how Chanel feels about this or that or that or that. Okay, and she gets to know how I feel about this or that. And then as this feeling of each other, knowledge grows, it develops a thing called a trust between you and me. Okay, and as this trust grows between you and me, then it is I can place reliance on you because I know how Chanel feels, or I know how John feels, or I know how Pam feels, or somebody else feels. And when I can do that with them, and then they know how I'm feeling, then it becomes a much bigger and happier place for it to be. Right?
Okay.
Okay, so what happens when it is that when you develop an understanding of you and your feelings towards other people, then it is a natural thing develops in you. Because you understand your feelings, then it is you can have the ability to be empathic to those around you. So that because the process of being empathic is for you to be able to synchronize your feelings with them, that you can understand how they are feeling. So, for instance, if somebody has just lost a favorite pet, okay, and in your phone call or in something with him, then you can understand how they feel, okay, because you understand that feeling of loss in you. But if you don't understand that feeling of loss in you, how can you understand somebody else's loss? Does that make sense?
Yes, so much.
Okay, other thing, yeah. So that is what it is that that's one of the benefits. So when it is that you can do this with other people, okay, then it is that it brings into balance things between you and them. And they understand, Chanel phoned me today and she understands how I feel about my dog dying. Oh, at least somebody out there understands my feelings. Okay, one thing. So this is really, it's a really, really important skill. But you can only do that if you know what's going on here. If you don't know what's going on here, you can't do it to other people. Okay, one thing. So the other thing is that if we try to smother our feelings or push them down or squash them or try and cover them up or deny them or something, okay, all of this creates a big problem for us, because when we push them down, we don't express them. When we don't express them, then others don't know how we feel. And then they assume because you keep quiet and you just hold on to them, then it is that, well, they say, well, Chanel must be happy with the way that I'm treating her because she doesn't say anything. And then one day, I just put the teacup in the wrong position or the wrong way, or I miss slightly, or something happens, and then kapoof, this whole thing just explodes. Well, look at the mess that you made. Well, it's only a little bit of tea, but this thing just explodes. Okay, and that's what happens when you hold the feelings in. Okay, I think so. It's not for us to actually do that. The other thing that happens when it is that we push down our feelings, this is a thing called you suppress your feelings. Okay, and we suppress our feelings where we push them down because we have a fear that if they come up and they express themselves, then it is, well, I'm going to cause World War III, or I'm going to upset somebody, or that they're not going to like it, or I'm going to hurt their feelings, or something, or something, or something. Okay, and so we hold these things down and we don't express them. Now, the more that we hold this thing down, this is a dis-ease that we call depression. Depression is the wrongly named dis-ease. It should be called suppression because we suppress our feelings down. Okay? Suppression and depression. And I can tell you that depression is a worldwide problem. It is everywhere. And it is there because people don't understand how it works. They don't understand that they need to express. Okay, but in order to express your feelings means you've got to open yourself up. When you open yourself up to somebody and to those around you, and it is that those persons want to take advantage of you, or they want to criticize you about the way that you feel, if you haven't got the ability to put a boundary in place, this is the thing, okay? If you haven't got that ability to put the boundary in place, then it is that you have this reluctance to express yourself. When it is you've got the ability to put boundaries in place, then it is you feel completely comfortable to express yourself. And if somebody wants to misread it or take advantage of it or whatever it is, you put your boundary in place and you kill it right there and there. Okay? But that allows you this thing to express. When that allows you this thing to express, then it is you don't ever become depressed. Is that clear for you?
Yes, so we can only put a boundary in place if we know how we feel. So we can say how we feel, so we can express it well to get it across to the other person, not to allow them to control us or manipulate us or take our energy. But before that happens, that's why we're afraid to express ourselves, because we close ourselves up because we're afraid of opening up, just as you explained. Yeah.
Yeah.
To put a boundary in place. Yeah, you need to. I understand that. It just sucks to be afraid of it and to DIY yourself.
Okay, and this is why it is that we spoke about the boundaries and how important that the boundaries are. Okay, because the boundaries are there to protect you. Okay, one of the things. So, you know, I might have shown you this before, is that the boundary.
Why is it so hard to protect yourself with boundaries? Why can't you just, you know, I think I've become so desperate just to say how I feel, but to do that in the correct way. It feels like a huge mountain in front of me. Because sometimes you feel you can do it, and sometimes you don't, and sometimes you're afraid to do it because you're going to make yourself look silly, or yeah, it's not easy, but
it's not something. It's, you see, when it is, if you feel disappointed, there's nothing wrong with you saying that you're disappointed. You can't say that you're disappointed when it is that you're feeling hurt, okay, or you're feeling abandoned, or you're feeling neglected, or you're feeling unheard of, because then it is you're not saying what it is that you're feeling. Okay, when it is that you tell me how it is that you feel, okay, when you tell me how it is that you feel, then it is I know, oh, so Chanel feels like this. Okay, so when she feels like this, then I know, okay, so now I must respond to that feeling of hers. Okay, so Chanel tells me she's feeling not heard by me. Okay, then I cannot turn around and then say to her, but Chanel, you're being silly. Okay, it is that I am feeling not heard by you. And then it is, if I'm not hearing you correctly, then you need to say it again. Hey, listen, I'm feeling that you don't hear me. And you become the broken record until you say, well, have you got it now? And you say, oh, yes, no, I understand. Okay, that it is that you don't hear me. So, okay, so then what was it that you were saying again? Okay, other thing. So if I turn around and say that, Chanel, really, no, you know, what are you? Are you being a baby? Then it is you put up your boundaries.
yeah.
Huh? Okay,
Yeah.
and you say, I will not allow you to minimize how it is that I feel. And if you carry on this, I'm going to walk away. That's your boundary. But it allows you to say, I feel that you don't hear me. You see, it's easy. Okay.
Thanks for that. Okay, fine.
Okay, but it is, you have to know what it is that you are feeling. Because if you say that I feel disappointed in your interaction with me, but you're actually feeling that it is that you don't hear me, then I'm going to look at you and I say, Chanel, what's going on with you? Have you lost your marbles? Okay, that's why it is the language of the feeling that you feel in your body is the feeling that you need to be able to put a name to it. And we will get there to describe how you learn this language. But when you can learn that this feeling in your body means this phrase or this name that we give it, then it is you feel this thing and you express this feeling. When you do that, you're home and dry. Then other people know how you feel. And that becomes an easy thing. Okay? But it is a skill to learn. That it is that this feeling, whether I feel it here on the end of my nose or here on my shoulder or here in my heart or, you know, wherever it is that you feel it, in your stomach or whatever it is, that feeling has a name. And that feeling, you just need to learn that name. It's just a skill that you need to learn. That's all. There's nothing mystical about it. It's the same as you learning to read. Okay, and when you learn to read, it is now you can read a book anytime now, or you read a newspaper or a magazine, and you know what is being expressed because that's a skill that you've got. The feeling skill is a skill that you haven't got. Does it all make sense?
Yeah.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Do I have to add some more to this, or is it clear to you?
No, it's clear.
Okay, good show. Okay. So now I want to talk about the difference between feelings and emotions. Any idea what they are?
I guess you feel both of them.
Yeah, oh, that is true. That is true. Yes, okay. So emotions are triggered by a feeling. Okay, so let me give you an example. Emotions are things like anger or irritation or frustration or jealousy or you know, something like that. Okay, on the thing. The anger is triggered by some feeling that you are feeling that makes you angry. Okay, so let's say an anger is look at the house, it's a complete mess. Okay, and you're really angry about the way that the house is and it's a complete mess. It's kind of like, well, what's the feeling in there? And the feeling is that I want to live in a place of tranquility. I want to live in a place that's organized. I want to live in a place that is where there's harmony. You understand the trigger? No, it's confusing me. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's.
Okay.
Okay, so give me something that you were angry about, something where you shouted at the kids or the husband or the dog or the cat.
That you do. Look at this house, it is a mess. So don't you feel frustrated, angry?
Yeah, okay, so those are the emotions. So what is the underlying feeling about the house being a mess?
Disappointed.
It's not organized. It's not, it's that it's chaos.
But that's not emotion. Yeah, I guess I've got some Googling to do.
Yeah,
And I'll
okay.
try
So,
and put those together.
yeah, all right. So if I look at Chanel of who she is and the way that she presents herself, she likes a nice, organized home, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if it's a mess, then it's not organized. Okay. So if it's not organized, who who is creating the mess? And they're not understanding it is that you want it organized and have structure there. Okay. So if you use something, then it is when you finish it, go and wash it and put it away, or go and clean up after the mess that you do, whatever it is. Clean up after yourself.
Right?
Okay. So it is, the feeling is that I would like structure or a neat home or a calm home or something, not a messy home. The messy home is the anger, the frustration, the irritation about that.
Okay.
You're not sounding convinced. Okay, so let's.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand how you're phrasing emotion and how you're phrasing feeling. So I still want to understand where the feeling comes from, so that you give the name and then you make an example, and then I don't understand where the emotion comes from or where you go and fetch it. But
Okay, okay. So
I think
the
you guys.
okay. So let's just talk about the emotion. Okay, the emotion is the energy, the E, that comes in motion that makes you angry. Okay, so this is the emotion. This is the, when you get angry, this power comes out of you, right? This whole energy source comes out, right? Okay, so that's the emotion. That's the energy in motion. Okay, on the thing. Where do we
I
get
can
that
go
from?
with.
Okay, where do
Oh,
we get that?
that's very cool to remember. Yes.
Okay, so where do we get that from? It's quite easy. Let me introduce you to my anger pony. Okay, so when I have my anger pony and I mount my anger pony, now I can tell you how I feel and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I use the anger, the energy that comes up from here. I use this to express myself. Okay, and I use it normally in terms of shouting, in terms of anything. Why do we shout when we do this? So that you don't what me?
So that I don't.
What me?
You.
You don't challenge me. Okay, so when I'm angry and I say this thing, then it is that you don't challenge me on it. Why don't I want you to challenge me? Because I don't want you to ask me how I am feeling.
Yeah, because you want to suppress it, you want to hide it, you don't want to feel it because emotional pain fucking hurts. Okay. Oh.
So that's the difference between emotions and feelings. The emotions always involves the anger pony or the pony. Okay, always. So the anger pony or the frustration pony or the irritation pony or the whatever. This thing has got different kinds of names to it. Okay, but they all got the same thing. This comes up, and now I speak like it, and don't you dare challenge me. Emotion.
Okay, immediately I will shut myself off and go do my own thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I'm feeling that right now. The way you expressed yourself, and that's all I'm used to. So I understand where that comes from.
Okay, right.
That
Now, so now I've made a big breakthrough. You understand the anger pony. Okay, this is the anger pony. So let me just put that back. So now, the way that we are supposed to interact with each other is not to use the anger pony, because this is the only thing that you know, rightly so. Okay. How did you, as a young girl, get what it is that you want? You always had to learn to shout. You always had to learn to think. Okay. And that became the way that you learned how to do things. Nobody taught you and said to you, Chanel, please just tell me how you are feeling about this or that. And so if you tell me how you're feeling, then it is, I can then interact with you. But the anger... Sorry, the what? I didn't hear
that. Yeah, trigger, thanks.
It is always, all emotions are triggered by something. Okay, all emotions are triggered by the tissue. The tissue is a feeling. Okay, all emotions are triggered by these things. So it is that, you see, when you start to understand how this works in you, and this is the way that you operate.
And where they come from.
Yeah, then you understand what it is. Now, the trick is to understand, well, what is this feeling that was triggered in me? Okay, when I understand this feeling that's triggered in me, now I can express this feeling. I'll say, you don't hear me. I talk to you and you don't hear me. I need you to hear me. And that's the difference. Okay. Now, the emotions can also come out as shouting or hitting or snarling or hissing or acting out in some kind of way. Okay, there are many different ways that we use this anger pony or this frustration pony or this pony, this energy pony. There are lots of ways that we use it.
Yeah.
Okay, so things like, if we had the ability to say, when you speak to me like that, I really feel heard and ignored by you, and I don't like it. Rather than, let me shout at you, then, you don't care about me.
That's how I become muted and I shut my ears off and I don't want to hear it, and I feel like I don't have a right to express myself. And that's why it's harder as an adult to now change that with repetition.
It is nothing else.
If you raise your voice, then I'm already like, okay, I'm not going to tell you how you feel. Bye now.
Okay, yeah. This is just a skill for you to learn. That's all it is. Okay, and I know I keep harping on this thing, but it is that when you can say is that when you speak to me like that, I feel really hurt and ignored by you, and I don't like it. and I would like you to speak to me properly. I don't want you to shout at me. I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to speak to me and to tell me how you feel. And then he'll say, okay, now next time it is when you get angry, then I'm going to do the same to you. And you say, okay. And now it is we learn to speak to each other. Okay, but before we do that, we need to understand what's going on here. Very important. Okay, another big thing is that, well, when somebody's shouting to you, then it is you can put the boundary in place and say, I really feel hurt and ignored when you speak to me like that, and I will not allow it. And what's more, if you carry on, I'm going to leave. And if it carries on, then you get up and you leave. Because when you do that, the automatic reaction in the person that you're interacting with now generates a feeling of respect. So if I'm going to get your cooperation about something, then it is I now need to speak to you properly. Okay? And I need to speak to you with respect. Okay, that's why the boundaries are so important, because the boundaries then, you put it, you say, if you carry on, I'm going to leave. As soon as you stop that thing, then it is that you force the other person to then treat you with respect. And then when they want to interact with you again, you will see that their tone changes. And then it is you can interact with them and you can tell them how you feel and they can tell you how they feel. And so the two of you are like this. Okay, one feels this way and the other feels this way. And as you talk more and more, you start to find the middle ground between the two of you. And as you find the middle ground between the two of you, then it is you are now taking into account how he or she feels, and he or she is taking into account how you feel. Okay? And when you can do that, then it is you can reach a resolution, taking into account how does Chanel feel and how do I, Peter, feel. Okay? And now we can settle this thing, taking into account you and your feelings, me and my feelings. And when that happens, then it is Chanel will then feel heard, honored, and respected. And Peter will feel heard, honored, and respected.
I understand that.
That's the beauty of expressing feelings. Sorry, you were going to say more?
No. I hear you, I understand you. It's just to practically do it is hard.
Oh, yes.
It's really hard.
Oh yes, but that is only because you haven't got the language skills, and that's a separate issue. The language skills is something that you can learn, and that I'm going to teach you in probably session 2 or session 3 from here. How do you do it? What is it that you do? And then we will do each of these sessions. We will do an expression of what does this feeling mean and what is that feeling, and then how do you use it and what does it mean, and how do you make the connection between the feeling and the word. Okay, and that's the skill, and that's where we're going. But in order to get there, we need to understand the rest of the other things sort of around us all the time. Okay. So I want to, this session has now gone on long enough, and I want to end this session now. And the next session that we're going to pick up on is a session on that feelings are a package deal. Okay, you don't just get one feeling, or sometimes you get one feeling, but it's often that you feel like this and like this and like that. okay, on the thing. But this is a language deal. This is the thing that you need to learn and to understand, that the feelings come generally as a package. And it is that you can't select anything else. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that. We're going to pick that up in the next session. So, Chanel, I want to thank you so much for the time that you've given us and your expression on things, because as you were feeling and the problems that you would have is so typical of so many around you. And because of that, I don't want you to feel that it is that there's something wrong with you. I want you to recognize that it is that this is a skill to learn.
Absolutely. I recognize for what it is, and I see things for what it is. Now I need to feel things for what it is. And I'm excited to learn that with you. Thank you for your time, Peter.
You're most welcome, and thank you. I look forward to talking to you again. Bye.